What does it mean that European states have suspended the asylum claims of Syrian refugees? Despite our media's usual either incurious or deliberately rage-baiting coverage of this question, this is not a question of banning Syrians from applying for asylum in European countries, nor is it, in most cases, a discussion about forced repatriation. As far as I'm aware, only in Austria has the government itself actually spoken about a program of deportations for Syrians. And to be clear, they can talk about that, and it is disgusting that they would do so, but it would be entirely illegal and impossible for them to actually carry that out, as it is obviously against international law to return Syrians to Syria at the current time by force because of the obvious danger. In other countries across Europe, apparently in Finland, also in France, Germany, Italy, and the UK, we are talking about the suspension of Syrian asylum claims. That does not mean there is a ban on Syrians applying for asylum. Indeed, that would be also completely illegal. What it means is that for Syrians who are currently going through the asylum procedure, so they arrived in a country, they've said, I am from Syria, I need your protection, those decisions will not be made at the current time. And if this description of the Finnish system is accurate and that Syrians are going to be protected from any threat of repatriation and are going to be adequately supported with accommodation and welfare and so on during the time of their claims being suspended, then this is not a serious issue. However, in the UK, I do have objections to this. And the reason for that is that the UK asylum system is completely dysfunctional. Under our previous Conservative government, we all but stopped processing asylum claims. And so there is a massive backlog at the current time in our asylum system. This means that although most Syrians living in the UK will have been here for a long time, will have either refugee status or perhaps even have citizenship at this, there are still more than 5,000 Syrians who arrived in the last couple of years whose claims have still not been processed. And at that point, freezing their claims and saying that we will not make a decision on your case because the situation in your country of origin is in flux is not acceptable. Because asylum seekers are living in squalid, inadequate shared accommodation. They are living off a pittance in terms of state support, and they are denied the opportunity to work. We ban them from working, so they are unable to support themselves and get themselves out of that horrific limbo situation. The solution, therefore, in the UK's case would be to grant all Syrians who are currently waiting for a decision in the asylum system a temporary humanitarian status. This would give them the right to move on out of horrendous asylum accommodation. It would give them the right to start working. It would be thinking about the future and a much more stable basis on which to do that. At this time, Syrians deserve our support. They do not deserve us to be pulling the rug out from under their feet. People are worried, and the discourse around this has been really horrific and have really contributed to this worry that this is a step towards denying Syrians asylum or forced repatriation, which should never be on the table. If you want to learn more about this, the UN's Refugee Agency has put out some response to the suspension of Syrian asylum claims, where again they say what I say. It must receive adequate state support, welfare support and accommodation, or the chance to work and support them. No forced repatriation to Syria must ever occur. All returns must be voluntary and must be done within a timescale that allows Syrians to make safe and informed decisions about their future. So thank you very much to this commenter. It's really important to get the opportunity to sort of talk through what the nuance of this really is. What do these processes really mean? It doesn't mean, and it will never mean, that Syrians are not entitled to claim asylum in Europe. There is disgraceful, shameful rhetoric, especially coming out of Austria, but also across our media here in the UK, talking about sending people back or returning people to Syria. That is very obviously just extraordinarily premature and unacceptable. But it is also true that we need to ensure that if we are going to suspend the claims of Syrian asylum seekers until it is more clear what is going on in the region, that they have the right to a secure status during that time, that they are not just left in limbo, left in poverty, left in squalor, as we are leaving so many people within our asylum system.